So, this is the situation. It's going to start off and it's not going to sound like all that much. The more that we dive into it, the more I think you guys are going to realize quite how beefy this is. Games Workshop just removed the old Kill Team, Deathwatch Kill Team Veterans box set. So that was the Firstborn Kill Team, Firstborn Deathwatch Squad. The one that came with like the Sergeant, like the Xenophase Blade and all that kind of stuff, right? Now on the surface, this doesn't seem like such, it doesn't seem like such a big deal because they have replaced the, there's a new one coming. There's a new one coming. It's a new Kill Team box, and it comes with it's a new Kill Team box. So it doesn't. What's the big deal? It's obviously the old box going away. Shame, old models, whatever. Well, shame, bad. We don't like old models going away, but surely they've just been replaced by the new Kill Team box. So there's no dramas or no issues there whatsoever. Firstly, the first thing that is a bit of a pisser is the new Kill Team box is almost entirely incompatible with the old Kill Team box. So it's not a case of, oh, you can use your old veterans as the new veterans. I'm talking maybe 10% backwards compatibility. You've got a guy with a Thunderhammer, but it's not a Deathwatch Thunderhammer, not a Deathwatch Heavy Thunderhammer, and it's not. And they've got a guy with a Xenophase Blade, and they've got a guy with a Frag Cannon and a guy with an Infernus Heavy Bolter. So so you got those 4 bits made it. Okay? Those 4 bits made it. Everything else fucked. Oh, and you got one guy with a Storm Shield. One guy with a Storm Shield. Every other Deathwatch option that existed is now gone. Now you might be thinking, well, more than 5 options seems okay. You can know that this is a Kill Team box. Okay? We know how Kill Team boxes go. You get a bunch of guys, when they come over to Warhammer 40k, you get a bunch of guys basically with fixed loadouts. There's like, oh, well, you might be able to take like one guy who's got a plasma gun or a melter gun, but basically you've got a bunch of fixed loadouts. So this starts getting real fucky real quickly. Because in the new Kill Team box, and please, by the way, before I go any further, please correct me if I get anything wrong or I miss anything. Because whilst I love a good bit of beef, we want prime ribeye beef. We don't want fucking Beyond beef. Okay? So, if I get anything wrong, correct me. And I'm happy to get pushback on this. You guys know I keep an open mind, and I'm happy to get pushback on this. So, the Deathwatch Kill Team comes as a 10-man box, not a 5-man box. It comes as a 10-man box, and every single one of those guys in that box has a unique loadout. That means that already straight away, if you were using 5-man Deathwatch Kill Teams, can't do that anymore. You've got to have 10-man Deathwatch Kill Teams. Irish Relief said it's 2 5-man teams. Okay, GW said, okay, fuck it, Irish Relief. Jesus fucking Christ, man. Basic bolter guys, basic bolter, power sword, shield guys, all that, gone. Storm bolters, gone. All of the Deathwatch shotguns, all gone. So all of the, so just your basic fundamental guys. Okay, so you're going to have, so the whole thing is going to be that your Deathwatch Kill Teams, the number of options that you've got in this box has just gone down like massively. Okay, and this is just, by the way, let's make something clear here. This isn't the main beef that I have with this. Okay, I will reiterate this again. I will reiterate this again. This is the tip of the iceberg. This isn't the main problem that I have with this. Okay, this alone would be BeefCon 2. Okay, but if you just go through and look at before we move on from it, if we go through and just look at the GW, if we go through and look at the GW kits, the new GW kit versus the old GW kit, you can see like there's going to be we're not just talking from a theorycraft point of view here. We're talking from an actual practical point of view. There is going to be huge portions of people's armies, the Deathwatch armies, just getting invalidated. Okay? Like, if you are someone that has a Deathwatch kill team right now, and I'm doing this off the top of my head, but if you're someone that has a Deathwatch kill team right now in your Deathwatch army, and you've got a 10-man squad which has got 4 Storm Shields and Power Swords, a couple of guys with Thunder Hammers, you've got a couple of guys with Thunder Hammers, you know, that sort of, you can have like a loadout where it's like a almost fully melee loadout, right? If you have that loadout now, which is, or you have the 5-man version which does the same thing, that's just gone. It, like the majority of that is just gone. It's just invalidated, it's just fucked, it's gone, it's bad. Okay? So, and the kill team box set, you know, there's just a whole load of issues around like how, you know, if you're someone that's built your kill team to have like 4, I think it's like 2 of the frag cannons and 2 of the heavy infiltrated flames. So I think you can get 4 of the frag cannon guys. I think like now you're going to be down to 1 frag cannon guy and 1 infiltrated bolter guy, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So please push back on that. So here's the thing. So we can go through and compare. What loadout is new and what loadout is old, and all this kind of stuff. We can go through and say, you know, well, this is valid and this isn't valid. But let's actually get down to brass tacks here. Which is, it's not about, and this is not necessarily a point that supports my argument or a point that pushes against my argument. Okay, it's just a point, and it's just, I think it's worth throwing out there. We're not talking about this from a theory point of view. Okay, there's all, you know, because one of the things that can often, I think, people can exaggerate their arguments with, and one of the things that I think that can actually almost, they exaggerate it, but actually sort of cheapens the point of view that they're trying to make, cheapens their argument, is we're not talking about theoretical loadouts which don't exist anymore. Okay, you know, oh well, you know, we're not talking about niche cases where someone's like, oh well, I took this very specific loadout and now that's not available anymore. All right, that's not my issue here in any way, shape, or form. My issue here is that anyone who has an existing Deathwatch army, okay, so whether you are doing this as part of Imperial agents or whether you are doing this as part of a standalone Deathwatch army, anyone, especially the Imperial agent side of things though, and you might say, oh, well, not that many people have Imperial agents. A lot of people might not have full-blown Imperial agents armies, but I guarantee you there'll be plenty of people that picked up a Grey Knight Terminator kill team, you know, a Grey Knight Terminator squad that they could add in. You know, a lot of guard players were playing around with that, trying a few Grey Knights instead of when Balgwins were going through a bad spot. And then you also had a lot of, you know, you got a lot of people that's one example. You have a lot of people that will have been adding little Deathwatch kill teams into their armies. I know, right now off the top of my head, I know literally only a couple of months ago, a member of this community, Revenga, he bought 3 Deathwatch kill team boxes, the old ones, to use with his guard army. Okay? So we're not talking, and so so there's going to be lots of people that have either got standalone Deathwatch armies, or people who have got Imperial Agents armies, or people who have been seasoning their stuff with Imperial Agents, with Deathwatch stuff, and they've all of the go-to competitive loadouts for which is the practical loadouts. So I'm not talking about theorycraft, which is the practical loadouts, which is the loadouts that people will have fucking bought the models in mind with, will have fucking played them on the table with, the things that people have actually... These aren't theoretical loadouts. These aren't theoretical loadouts. These are actual, real, practical loadouts, which have just been... They're gone. They're gone. So that's, I think, important to say. We're not making fake beef here. We're not doing impossible beef here. We're talking about, is this actually having a practical, noticeable impact on the stuff that you have invested your money in? So step one, this is why I'm saying it's an iceberg. There's more below the surface than above the surface. All right? So the only bit that's above the surface is the old Deathwatch Kill Team box went away. But everyone's kind of forgetting about that and doesn't give a shit about that because, like, look at the new sexy shiny Kill Team. Yeah, we're not beefing on the new models. We're not beefing on the new models at all. The new models are amazing. They're beautiful. They're awesome. Yes, great. Okay, let's be clear here. This isn't a Mordian shouting at Cloud because he doesn't like Primaris. Nah, fuck that. I'm over that now. You know, I prefer Firstborn, but if you like Primaris, that's great. Okay, so let's make that clear. So the first thing is the new kit is kind of distracting everyone from the fact the old kit's going away. But the old kit, when we actually look at what has been, what the difference is between these two kits, it's invalidating a whole bunch of actual practical things that people have bought. They've not just trimmed they've not just trimmed the fat. Okay. Now this is where I get to my real beef. Okay. This is where personally I get BeefCon 1. Okay. This is where already you might be full up, but this is where I get BeefCon 1. All right. Because Games Workshop, they fucking rug pulled people. Okay? They fucking rug pulled people. So what do I mean by that? So earlier in 10th edition, Games Workshop stopped giving a fuck. They stopped giving a fuck about Deathwatch. And it got to the point where actually they tried to squat Deathwatch. They were like, look, in fact, we're taking your index away. We're taking your index away and you're not getting anything back. Go away. And the outcry from that, from the community was, that's a whole bag of fucking bullshit, Games Workshop. Bring back Deathwatch. Bring back Deathwatch. Okay. So, Games Workshop, in a apparent act of goodwill and community engagement and outreach, said, okay, we've heard you. You guys have said you want Deathwatch still be a thing, so here's your index back. And not only that, but here is your index back, and we've actually put some fucking care and attention into it. Now, I want to make something clear. At the time, I fully praise that. I fully support that. I think that's great. That's awesome. No dramas. All right? No dramas with that. But the issue now is that now it seems, now I'm starting to feel like that wasn't just good community outreach and stuff. Now I feel like they fucking fooled us once, shame on you. Fooled us twice, shame on me. I'm feeling shamed. Because they brought Deathwatch back. They gave them a whole bunch of good shit. Okay? That gave the Warhammer 40k community the impression that GW was like, okay, Deathwatch is all right now. Deathwatch is okay. Not only that, they then, I think this might have happened around the same time, you also got your Imperial Agents, and the only fucking kill team in the Imperial Agents book for Deathwatch is, you guessed it, the old one, the one that's now gone. Okay, so you had people being like, okay, well, we've got the index back, and we've got Imperial agents. It's all great. It's all great. So people started having confidence in Deathwatch. They started having confidence in Deathwatch. Now, when people start having confidence in something, they start buying it. They start buying it. If you were a Deathwatch player that you could, going back to last year, you could see the writing on the wall, you could see where things were going. What do you think most Deathwatch players did? They stopped buying Deathwatch because there was no confidence in the army. Unless you're an absolute diehard fan, you stop buying Deathwatch because no one's going to invest. You don't want to invest money in a dead faction. And what do you think happened when people start getting confidence back in Deathwatch again? When we actually started seeing Deathwatch being competitive on tabletops again. We actually started seeing mad bastards using Imperial agents and actually doing okay with them. And by the way, the only Imperial agents armies that ever did well were Deathwatch inside the Navy detachment. Okay, and we actually saw some people. It's not a lot. But we saw not insignificant numbers of Deathwatch players doing well and Imperial agents players doing well. And actually, there was life back into the army. Life back into the army. Confidence back into the army. So what did people do? They started buying Deathwatch again. What do you think was what do you think they were buying? They were buying fucking kill teams. They were buying fucking Deathwatch kill teams. Veteran kill teams. And then this is where it really gets. This is the next layer of the iceberg. The next layer of the lies. Deceptions. Every day, more lies. Games Workshop releases a Christmas box set. Imperial Agents come out. Get your big. You get your fucking. I don't know if it was Christmas or if it was the. I think it was Christmas though. I think there was two. Chat, correct me if I'm wrong. There was at least one, but maybe two. I'm sure there was two. I'm sure there was a Christmas Ordo. Xenos, or if it was Imperial Agents. Or was it 3? So Agents got 3 box sets. The 3 Agents combo boxes. But was it not? They were army launch boxes. Okay. So they were army launch boxes. Okay, so not Christmas. Please forgive me. I knew it was a box. Army launch boxes. One for each Ordo. One of those was Ordo Xenos. In that box set, you had the veterans. So if you were someone that bought into Imperial Agents and bought that Ordo Xenos box set, then about 8 months ago? 8-9 months ago? Less than a year ago. Less than a year ago. Thanks for your money. Now fuck off. So Games Workshop took Deathwatch away, brought them back, then started giving everyone confidence in them by releasing a whole fucking army launch box around them. And then 9 months later, everything you bought. Okay, let's not exaggerate. Everything you bought for Deathwatch veterans. No, let's not say everything. The majority of what you bought, gone. I don't want to exaggerate. The majority of what you bought, gone. Games Workshop, literally. Here's the thing. Right? This is what annoys me. Okay. This is what annoys me. There's 2 things that annoy me here. There's 2 extra layers of beef here. I know, more layers. There's 2 extra layers of beef, but these are like small bonus layers. Okay. This is a big pile of turd, but these are just little flies flying around. All right. Potentially. One of them might be bigger than the other, but we'll see. The first one that annoys me is we now know that Games Workshop plans things out years in advance. Okay? One thing that you've got to give them credit for, they have very, very good development pipelines. It very rarely wobbles. That's, you know, it wobbles like a little bit. That's why people talk about like Cursed City, because it was a wobble. It was a big wobble. All right. You know, but the kill team for like Sisters of Battle versus the new Nightbringer, that's not coming out for a year. That leaked a year ahead, and they already had everything done for it, and the leaks come out a year early. So that must have been done before. You know, that's been in the works for over a year. Okay, for over a year. Now, if Games Workshop, now for me, that actually adds an extra fucking layer of shit to this sandwich, because if they knew that the new kill team that they were going to be bringing out for Deathwatch was going to invalidate all the old Deathwatch kill team stuff, and they still put stuff in that box set for Ordo Xenos, then that really, really feels like a bad, like that feels very dodgy. Does no one else feel that? That feels very dodgy. And then there's a second thing. Second thing is, some of you might be here thinking, okay, but, you know, Deathwatch were a pretty niche army. Deathwatch a pretty niche army. You know, and all this kind of stuff. How many people are really going to be affected by this? Okay, I mean, you know, that's a valid point. Okay, two things there. Firstly, if you have to think about, you don't think about this from your own personal perspective. Okay. Every day, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of new people coming into this hobby. Okay? Every day. And they don't have the wider knowledge that you have. The only knowledge that they have is basically, well, for most people, the first knowledge that they're going to have is going to be what comes from Games Workshop. So if you're someone that came in to the hobby that was new, and you saw Imperial Agents, for example, and you thought those sound really cool, and you go to your local Games Workshop and ask about them, and he's going to be like, oh, yeah, these are great, blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah, Ordo Xenos guys, fantastic. He's going to sell you that box set. Okay, you're not going to know that Deathwatch are a super niche army. You're not going to know that Imperial Agents are a super niche army. You're going to think that all the armies are pretty equals, pequals kind of thing. So that's the first thing to bear in mind. You've got to think about, it's not just you, which... You know, you with your giga brain and your advanced knowledge, you got to think about someone who's coming in for the first time. Think about someone that played Space Marine 2. We all know how massively impactful Space Marine 2 is. Okay? And the beginning of Space Marine 2, when you get to play as a Deathwatch guy, like, such a cool beginning to the game. Yeah, it's only an intro mission, but such a cool beginning. And then also, when you play Space Marine 2, you can... you play something, you can actually later on upgrade yourself to be like a space, you know, with your armors and stuff that you unlock, you can upgrade to be a Deathwatch. And I think they've just released new DLC around Deathwatch and everything as well. So if you're someone that's coming in from the Space Marine pipeline and you're like, oh man, you know, I really like Space Marine 2, but I want to be a little bit different, because you have a lot of hobbyists that want to be like that. You're going to come in and you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to get some of these Deathwatch kill team guys. So you're also going to be, you're going to come in there not knowing the wider thing that all Deathwatch were a bit niche and stuff, and then you're also going to get diddled. It feels like if you're someone that's in this universe for a while, in this Games Workshop bubble for a while, you will be aware of the chicanery that they get up to. You know, we've got, you know, like Mad Larkin, as I said, you know, I have that box, blah, blah, blah. You know, I have to get a few new models, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, okay, but you have more knowledge, Mad Larkin. You've been in this hobby for a long time. Do you know what I mean? You've got to think about, like, when you step away from this and you think, okay, it feels kind of fucking scummy. It feels like it preys on people's ignorance. And it feels like it also, even if you are a veteran in this hobby, if you were someone that followed that you know, follow what's happened with Deathwatch and saw the confidence come back to them and everything, and you're someone that bought into them, like, okay, Deathwatch are back now, we're all good. It feels like you've been diddled as well. So I want to say something absolutely, let me make something clear here. I think the new Deathwatch kill team box models look great. okay, look great. And if you're someone that doesn't have any existing Deathwatch right now, or very limited amounts of Deathwatch right now, and you're not affected by this in any way, shape, or form, I'm not saying don't buy the new kill team. Of course I'm not saying that. Okay? I never tell people what they should or shouldn't buy. Buy what you want to buy. Have fun with what you want to buy. Of course, of course, of course. What I'm saying is, my beef here is it feels like Games Workshop gave us all hope. People bought in, and now they fucking rug pulled. I don't have anything. I have no issue with Games Workshop, like, updating models and stuff. My issue is that, and I'm trying not to be salty. Not being salty. Okay? But here's the thing. I never, ever have to deal with this with any game outside of, like, Warhammer 40k. All right, now this is the biggie. This is the big me, but this is the biggie. But hang on with this, right? Okay, hang on with this. Games Workshop is insincere. Games Workshop never actually is sorry. They're never sorry. They're just, what they do is they mollify the community until they think that we don't care anymore. And then they start pulling shit again. The moment they think that we've forgotten about it and we can get away with it. You know when Squats came out? In 9th edition, and they were utterly, utterly broken. And Games Workshop did that really good video where they had, like, you know, James Workshop being like, oh, yes, well, of course I gave them the stats. Yes. Oh, I've got to go to Codex Zote and give them all a 2+ save. Really good video. They took that video down. Now, please, go and search for it for yourself. I searched for this. I couldn't find it. This was on stream. The only copy of this I could find was someone else reacting to it. It was Rob from The Honest Wargamer. Okay? So, it's one of... C.L. Smith, I don't expect them ever to be sorry or sincere, but... Hang on. I know what you mean. Okay? But it's what I mean. It's what I was saying before is... lies! Deceptions! Every day, more lies. That's what I mean. You know, they thought they could get away. They abandoned Deathwatch. They thought they could get away with basically fucking everyone off, and then everyone pushed back on it and went, no, Games Workshop, what are you doing? And now they've basically waited long enough, and now they're trying to get away with it again. The advice from this is the cautionary tale. Okay. So we're not just moaning and bitching and whining. The cautionary tale is, if you have an idea for a cool, unique, niche army, don't fucking do it. Leave that shit in the idea palace. Leave that shit on the imagination shelf. Don't fucking do it. Because honestly, all you're doing is setting yourself up for heartbreak in the future. Pick a main faction. Go with something that's very mainstream for the faction. If you're Guard... Buy infantry, but don't be buying fucking plastic catachans. Buy Cadians, buy Death Corps of Krieg, only buy fucking mainstream models, and don't fucking touch the niche shit. Don't go anywhere near it, because you don't fucking know what's going to happen to it. I think that's the lesson learned, not just from what's happened with Deathwatch and Agents right now, but also from what's happened with other armies and other game systems. Yeah. So that's it. That's not even me being mean or horrible or bitchy or moany or whiny. That's me being extremely pragmatic and extremely objective. Don't buy niche armies, guys. Don't do that. Unless if you've got a modeling project and the reason you're doing it is not just because you like the models, because you actually want to play with them, stick to the main. Stick to the main. Yeah. Stick to the mainstream shit. Don't be buying the niche shit. So, let me just show this off. I think this provides evidence that the old kill teams are fucked, but let us see what you guys think. So, you got 5 operative. You've got your Deathwatch operatives here. You can pick 5 of them. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you've got 10. Okay. You've got 10. So this will be 1 for each model that comes in the squad, right? And then you've got, but when you're playing kill team, you can only pick 5. Okay, so you've got Watchmaster, Aegis, Blade Master, Bombard, Breacher, Demolisher, Disruptor, Gunner, Head Taker, Horde Slayer, and Marksman. Okay. So, if we have a look at that, your Deathwatch Sergeant, he comes with pretty standard loadout. He's got a plasma pistol and a power weapon. Obviously, equipment options here, if I understand Kill Team correctly, will relate to extra equipment, not war gear options. So he's got a plasma pistol and a power weapon, who comes with a power maul and storm shield. Okay, he doesn't seem to have any weapon options whatsoever. We've got Master Guy here. He comes with a special issue bolt pistol and a Xenophase blade. Okay. So the Xenophase blade wouldn't be on your Sergeant anymore. That could be an issue, potentially. Probably will just be a power weapon in the main game, but in 40k, but we'll see. Deathwatch Bombard, he comes with the frag cannon. Deathwatch Breacher Veteran, he comes with the bolt rifle. Deathwatch Demolisher Veteran, he comes with the heavy thunder hammer, so that's okay. Deathwatch Disruptor Veteran comes with the bolt carbine, but again, there appears to be very little variation here. Deathwatch Gunner Veteran comes with the plasma incinerator. Headtaker Veteran comes with the knives. And Horde Slayer Veteran comes with the Infernus Heavy Bolter, but that is on a Gravis guy. So, to me, that looks like you get one of each option. So it looks like about half of your guys are going to get diddled, which is still better than 90% of the guys getting fucked. But it's still not. It's halfway between being good and bad. But it's still. But you know what? Like I said, it is. You know, it's not as It's not as bad as I thought it was, but it's still not good. So there you go. Okay, so this is one thing I would like to point out, and again, I'm happy for people to see if I'm wrong, because it's just a thought that's come top of my head. The way kill team loadouts translate into 40k can sometimes be kind of weird. Like, if you look at the way the kill team loadout for the Aquilans is, for example, even though we get a plasma carbine and a melter carbine, and there's more flexibility, you know, do you see what I mean? You can only take one or the other in 40k. Maybe that's the way the models build. We'll have to see how the models build with this, of course, as well. The other thing that's worth mentioning is that if the kill team loadout is very specific on how the guys should be built, so if you look at what we were looking at before, where you can't have so with these things, you can't have duplicates. So the kill team models get built in a very specific way. You get a Deathwatch Sergeant, an Aegis Veteran, a Blade Master Veteran, a Bombard Veteran, a Breacher Veteran, a Demolisher Veteran, a Disruptor Veteran, a Gunner Veteran, a Headtaker Veteran, and a Horde Slayer Veteran. So when you get your kill team, you have to build one of each of those. You might have extra frag cannons and stuff, but you can only build one of each of those. That's my understanding, because you look, this is the weapons that they come with, and then you have a look here, and it's like, these are the 10 loadouts that you have to build, and you can only include one of each operative, so you can't double up. So that it'll be really, really interesting to see, it'll be really, really interesting to see if you have to build them in the loadouts, and then that translates over to 40k, or because the box has 2 frag cannons in it and 2 of the flamers in it, it'll be interesting to see if you can actually do that. Everything that we've seen, that Death Corps of Krieg used to be a kill team. Now they're a squad in the main game. And what the Death Corps of Krieg plastic models can get is completely different to what the Death Corps of Krieg resin models could get. So a kill team completely influenced what happened in a main faction in Warhammer 40k. What about Commandos? Commandos used to have a unit in 40k, and they used to have a unit in Kill Team. The Kill Team box came over to Warhammer 40k, and now the old Commander loadouts are completely invalidated, and the only loadout you can take is the one from the Kill Team box. If I'm going to go off historical precedent, yeah, absolutely a kill team box is going to change a major thing in a faction. Because so far, from what I have seen, that has, from what I can remember, in the majority of cases, I'm being careful. I would say every case, but I don't know every case. I don't know that. But in the majority of cases that I can remember, I'm playing it safe. When a kill team box has come out and then come over to Warhammer 40k, it has replaced the thing that was originally in Warhammer 40k. It's like an invasive species. So, I am assuming that because I have seen that happen before. I've seen the kill team to 40k pipeline. And the native species in 40k doesn't survive when the 40k kill team species comes in. Duty, sir. I will accept that I am making an assumption. And that assumption is the mother of all fuck-ups. And that until we know with the new datasheet that comes out, we don't know. So I will accept that I'm making an assumption. If we can agree that, then we'll agree that. And then that's almost as agreeing to disagree, but with an extra step. Would you like to know more? If so, then please consider becoming a channel member or patron. By supporting the channel, not only will you be doing your part, but you'll also be helping me create more content for your viewing pleasure and unlocking a whole host of perks. You get everything from a badge next to your name, custom emojis, but the big one is access to the Mordian Glory Discord server, an online community with almost 2,500 active members. It's always popping off in the MG Discord. We've got channels for army lists, hobbying, tactics, stories, and even a pretty spicy meme section as well. For all you greenhorns that wanted to see the Mordian glory hole, today is your lucky day. And joking aside, I do want to say a massive thank you to all of the current channel members and patrons. You guys are amazing. Truly the lifeblood of the channel. I could not do Mordian Glory full-time without the incredible and generous support of my members. So thank you guys so much. And last but certainly not least, I want to say a personal thank you to all of my top tier Patreons. These are the War Masters, the people who have truly gone above and beyond the call of duty. So a heartfelt thank you to Redfield, 32, Jurgens, Miasma, Try Again, Bragg, RJ, Scorpion, Bonbon Vert, Lord Pryor, Nicholas Walsh, John Stubbs, Guardian, Varney, Sword, Fish Trombone, Picklock the Forged. Seriously guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your support is incredible and it makes a huge difference. Thank you so much. That's all for now. Hope you've all enjoyed today's video, and of course, as always, see you guys next time.